It is Wednesday, November 8th. I'm student meteorologist Megan Berry.
And I'm student meteorologist Brittany Bowman.
We'd like to welcome you to a lovely Wednesday show. We had a low rain chance today. I didn't get wet outside. I don't even think Tallahassee got any rain today. Did you happen to get wet at all with that rain?
No, actually my walk to class was really nice. We saw some cloudy weather, so I wasn't sweating as much as I usually do. So
perfect, yeah. I can't really get in the holiday spirit with these 70 and 80 degree temperatures. It just doesn't feel like November to me.
No, not at all. Not feeling like November, not feeling like Thanksgiving's around the corner at all. This hot temperature definitely feels like summer here in Tallahassee still.
Yeah, it really does. We have some rain chances increasing, hopefully another cold front. I know I love when you get that dry, cool air. It's so refreshing. It's so nice to be outside, spend time on Landis. But this weekend we have some nice weather, sun, and low temps. Do you have any fun plans for Veterans Day weekend?
I'm going to take advantage of the nice weather, the cooler temperatures. Maybe I'll take my dog to the park, enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah, definitely. I might go check out some hikes, some trails, something like that. It's just a nice 3-day weekend for us students, so looking forward to that. You know, can't complain about that for sure.
Not at all.
Yeah, so it's just, like I said, feeling pretty warm. Temps are above average, you know, not ideal, but we have been getting that pattern of getting cool fronts just, you know, bi-weekly now it seems, so just kind of hanging in there until we get another one of those. So
yeah, basically just getting kind of like teases of winter. We get a cold front one week and then we're really hot the next week, and I personally like the colder weather better, so this week at the end will be one of my favorites.
Absolutely. I'm not sure if I should put my winter clothes away or my summer clothes away, just kind of keeping them all out, but we're going to take a look at some historical temperatures we had today in the region. Out of the wall, I'm going to be talking about our almanac. Our high today was 83. That's just so whopping and high for November. We should not be sitting at this temperature. You can see our average for this time of year should be about 75, which is really comfortable. Our average low should be about 64. Pardon me, 49, but we were at 64 today, so we are just way above average with those highs and low, feeling nothing like November today on your Wednesday. Current conditions in the region, we can see that color gradient right here through the region. So a lot cooler temperatures northeast of us, but that's going to be pushing down into our region. We'll be getting a bit cooler as the week moves on. Just various temperatures throughout the region, 73 in Valdosta, 74 in Panama City, 79 here in Tallahassee. We're going to be delving into that later on in the show, as well as our satellite and radar. We were sitting at a 20% chance of rain today. We didn't get much in the region. We can see some pop-up showers over here, but really nothing that crossed the region giving us any moisture. Tonight, things are going to be a bit more comfortable. We're getting down to 63. That rain chances, they're hanging on, they're lingering. It's warmer than average. The light wind, so it's not a perfect night to spend outside, but you can open up your windows with that 63-degree temperature. Weather headlines, as I mentioned, rain is on the way. Don't be too afraid of that rain, though. It's going to bring in some cooler temperatures, bringing back those November temperatures that'll get us into that holiday spirit. We do have a great weekend ahead for weather, and we can spend Friday outside with those sunny skies and those low temperatures, so your Veterans Day weekend is going to be looking very lovely. We're going to go ahead and send it back to the wall, back to the desk with Michael.
Megan, so we're going to talk about some weather history on this first desk. And so on this date in 1870, the first storm warning was issued by the U.S. Weather Service, which I find very interesting. The Weather Service has been here for a long time, and 1870 was when the first storm warning was issued. Moving on, in 1953, with all the smog issues that occur in urban areas, New York City on this date suffered through 10 days of smog, and it actually resulted in 200 deaths. Very tragic for anyone who was actually doing that there in 1953. In 1966, downtown San Francisco actually recorded a record high of 86 degrees. I know San Francisco, they don't really deviate in terms of temperatures. They're always within that range of 50 to 70 degrees. So when they get into the 80s, and sometimes they can get into the 90s, it is really hot for places like San Francisco. Moving on, in 1988, 1988 on this date was Election Day. Election Day was actually yesterday this year. But in 1988 on Election Day, Midland, Texas actually recorded a record high of 89. And in Santa Fe, New Mexico, they recorded a record high of 88. So they had some record warmth on this date. And finally, in 1989, there were afternoon and evening thunderstorms associated with a cold front in northern Louisiana through the southeast into central Georgia. these thunderstorms actually spawned some tornadoes, and there was a lot of reports of large hail and severe wind damage. So that's some of the weather history that occurred on this date. So let's send it off back to the wall with Brittany at a look at your local forecast.
Thank you, Michael. Now again, temperature was at 79 degrees currently here in Tallahassee. Again, it was a pretty nice day with the cloud cover. It wasn't too hot. 67 degrees is our current dew point, and our humidity is at 67. And this is an all right feeling. Winds coming out of the north-northwest at 3 miles per hour. Currently across the Big Bend area, 79 degrees in Tallahassee, 77 in Bainbridge, and 74 down in Carabel. Basically mid-70s, up or lower 80s throughout the whole area. Pretty warm with this nice orange color. Again, our dew point in Tallahassee was 67, 70 up in Bainbridge, and 71 in Monticello. Now this is feeling pretty moderate for us here in Tallahassee. Down by the coast, it was feeling actually more on the oppressive side, but again, we were at a not too humid, not too dry, humid day here in Tallahassee. Current winds, you can start to see that northwest wind from that front about to make its way in tomorrow. We're at 3 miles per hour in Tallahassee, a little higher over here in Meridian with that cold front crossing over, and throughout the rest of Florida, we're pretty sporadic, 0 in Gainesville. That cold front is still a little ways from that area. Our satellite and radar, you can see these clouds were pushing through our area. We saw those clouds outside today, and you're starting to see that rain peek through our area. That will be here around mid-afternoon tomorrow, so we'll see those rain chances start to increase throughout the rest of Florida. This is a look at our setup right now. The cold front actually is positioned basically on top of Tallahassee, but most of that moisture indicated by that green color is still north of us. So we still are waiting for that rain to arrive again tomorrow afternoon. So on your way to class, make sure you have an umbrella if you have that afternoon class, because that rain will definitely be moving through our area. Tomorrow, not the best boating day because of all that rain coming in. Winds coming out of the north, 10 to 15 knots. That chop is going to be 2 to 3 feet, which is considered moderate. Isolated thunderstorms are expected over the waters also. Tonight, we're looking at a low of 63 degrees. Our rain chance we're going to put at 20%. As pop-up showers are possible in front of that front, the rain chances will start to increase. Now, this is definitely a warmer than average temperature. We were used to those 50s and maybe even 40s last week, but we are definitely pretty above average for November. Winds out of the north-northeast at 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, we're looking at a high of 75, a little cooler because of that rain that's coming in. 40% chance of rain. It will stay cloudy throughout most of the day, especially before as that front is still moving through. So it won't be too hot, but make sure you bring those umbrellas. Isolated showers expected, and the winds are going to shift from the north at 5 miles per hour. Now looking at our 5-day forecast, here is where the front is coming in on Thursday. Here's our chance of rain. And then tomorrow, or for Friday, the clouds will start to decrease and the temperatures will also start to decrease. 73 is our high on Friday. Saturday, we begin to cool down a little more, 71, a low of 50. So that's going to be pretty nice for Saturday night, feeling a little bit more like winter. And then Sunday into Monday, we're going to start to warm up again, both highs of 74 and lows in the low 50s. But for now, we're going to head it over to Michael for a look at the southeast.
Thanks, Brittany. So across the southeast, the main weather story is that cold front draped across the southeast. It's right along the Gulf Coast currently, and a lot of the moisture is actually behind the cold front, which I find very interesting. Usually, a lot of the moisture is ahead of the cold front, but in this case, a lot of the moisture is behind the cold front. And you can see a lot of cloud cover and some rain reported in Shreveport currently. The temperature shows you that the cold front has moved through most of the southeast, with 58 in my hometown of Atlanta, 61 in Montgomery, 56 in Jackson. Here in Tallahassee, we're much warmer compared to those cities at 79 degrees. The relative humidity shows you it is very high in Atlanta and in Shreveport, meaning that there's some rain nearby. Montgomery's seeing a relative humidity of 78. Here in Tallahassee, a relative humidity is 67. Current winds, you can see that that cold front is situated right around Tallahassee when you look at these northwesterly winds. 7 in Montgomery, 12 in Tupelo, and 12 in New Orleans. The radar will show you a lot of the moisture is behind the cold front. The cold front is actually right along here. and a lot of the moisture is back towards Shreveport and the Dallas metro area. The water vapor, again, shows you where that moisture associated with that cold front is. A lot in Shreveport, Little Rock, and again, near the Dallas metro area. And the dew points behind this cold front, we are looking at lower dew points, meaning that drier air is starting to filter in. 45 in Tupelo, 45 in Little Rock. But here in Tallahassee, we're still right ahead of that cold front, very little ahead of that cold front, and we're at 67 where our dew point is. So it's feeling pretty muggy outside. For tonight's forecast, expect the colder conditions to be in the northwestern part of the southeast with 39 in Little Rock, 43 in Tupelo, and 42 in Shreveport. Down towards Tallahassee, it will be 64 degrees. We are basically right on the edge of that cold front. That cooler air will start to filter in tomorrow. But down here in Orlando and in Miami, they are sitting pretty warm for tonight at 68 in Orlando and 74 in Miami. For tomorrow's forecast, the cooler air will start to filter in into northern Florida and southern Georgia with 75 here in Tallahassee, 10 degrees, about 10 degrees cooler than today. But the warmer air will stay in central and southern Florida with 86 in Orlando and 87 here in Miami. Now let's send it back to the desk with Megan.
Thanks so much. We're going to take it a little bit further southeast and talk a bit about Puerto Rico and what's going on there. Hurricane Maria, hit them the morning of September 20th, and it has had significant impacts to the region. They already had a fragile infrastructure, so this hurricane brought a lot of devastation for civilian lives and civilian buildings and everything that Puerto Rico runs off of. So what's going on right now is the death tolls have increased. The normal death toll there was 82 deaths a day. It's now at 117. So officials are trying to see if there's a correlation between the impacts of the hurricane and the impacts of the death rates. An example of this could be someone's breathing machine turning off because of the loss of electricity, or obviously people not being able to get the resources they need, food and water. 90% of the island was without electricity 3 weeks after the storm hit, so people are still really in need of resources and basic things to live, such as clean water and food and electricity. So Puerto Rico still is under a lot of pressure to get better after Maria was hit. The tropics do look clear right now, so they have time to recover, but this is a serious matter. And as we were talking about, we really need to give our resources to them and make sure that we're doing everything we can in order to make sure that they are recovering. Puerto Rico is part of the U.S., so this is something that we do not take lightly. The territory's government says 55 people have died since the September 20th hurricane, or they have died as a result of that hurricane. And 55 people, that is a large number, especially for such a small island with such a small population. So, and that's probably, someone's family member, someone's friend, considering they have such a small population on that island. The overall daily deaths figures hint that the storm could have caused other harder to detect fatalities as well, though officials of the government's Forensic Institute said they don't have evidence to necessarily attribute these deaths to the storm. But one thing is for sure is that the island is nowhere near being close to recovering back to where they were before this devastation hit. We're going to go ahead and send it back to Michael at the wall.
Yeah, we were pointing out these two cold fronts earlier. The first one was in the southeast, draped right across the southeast. And then there is a low pressure system approaching the northwest of the United States. It is currently rating in Seattle at 50 degrees. A lot of the cold air is bottled up currently in Billings at 31 degrees and Minneapolis at 40 degrees. This cold air is actually going to move east and bring the coldest air of the season to the northeast by the late this week into the weekend. The 24-hour temperature change shows you that the cold front down here in the southeast had brought much cooler air compared to what it was yesterday. 33-degree drop from yesterday in San Antonio, 10-degree drop in Dallas, and 15-degree drop here in Atlanta. And water vapor will show you the two cold fronts first across the southern part of the U.S. And second, the low pressure system entering the northwest part of the U.S. Again, the current surface map shows you the low pressure system approaching the northwest part of the U.S. and then the cold front draped across the Gulf Coast, giving some moisture to Dallas, Shreveport, and central Mississippi. Let's look at the one across the southern U.S. You can see Dallas got a lot of rain earlier today, but now they're finally starting to clear out. You can even see some signs of snow up in the panhandle of Texas earlier this morning, which is really interesting for them. This is the low pressure system beginning to enter the northwest, giving a lot of rain to those of you forecasting that for the weather challenge in Quileute, Washington. And you can see some snow in the Cascade Mountains of Washington and Oregon. Watches and warnings there, a lot of marine advisories for that low pressure system entering the northwest of the U.S. up in Seattle and in Portland. And there's even some we're not looking at anything really, but for tonight's forecast, you can see a lot of that cold Arctic air up in Montana, North Dakota, and Minneapolis with 15 in Billings and 19 in Minneapolis. For tomorrow, you can see that it is really cold in Minneapolis with that Arctic air at 27 degrees for them. And you can see and down towards Florida. And let's actually take it back to the desk with Brittany.
Michael. Now, some big news for Twitter users. Twitter is actually going to double its character limit to 280 for nearly everyone. And by nearly everyone, I mean people who are tweeting in Chinese, Japanese, or Korean will still have that original 140 character limit due to their languages using fewer characters in their language. So it's not really needed for them. They're going to stick to that 140 character limit. The company says that 9% of tweets written in English hit the 140 character limit. I know personally I went to type a tweet and it was just too much and I couldn't fit it. Now this led to people making the grammatical errors, more time editing their tweets, or just not sending them out at all. Now Twitter hopes that this expansion to the limit will get people to tweet more, helping its overall growth. Twitter has been testing this limit for weeks, so some people have actually had this available to them to tweet more than 140 characters, and they were definitely taking advantage of it. I know I saw it all over my news feed, and this will actually roll out to everybody starting on next Tuesday. Now the company has been slowly easing these restrictions to people to allow them to cram more characters into a tweet, and it actually stopped counting polls towards the character limit, photos, and videos. So this is going to allow more characters to be typed in a tweet without encountering that actual social media. And for now, we're going to head things back over to the wall with Megan.
Thanks so much, Brittany. We're going to take a look at our current temperatures in the region. 79 right now in Tallahassee. It's mostly cloudy out there. We have the same dew point and humidity. It is very, very moist outside. So we are looking at these humid temperatures. But right now, we are just going to go ahead and send it back to the desk with Brittany really quick. We're just going to talk about some more weather history you guys might have missed earlier in the show.
All right, back to some more weather history. We're going to go back to 1943. An early season snowstorm raged around South Dakota and Minnesota into northern Wisconsin. The storm produced 22 inches of snow at Faribault and Marshall, Minnesota. 20 inches were recorded in Redwood Falls, Minnesota, and 10.1 inches were recorded in Minneapolis. Drifts 15 feet high were reported in Cottonwood, Minnesota. Now the storm produced up to 2 feet of snow, and we're actually going to head it back over to the wall with Megan.
Thanks so much. We're going to talk about current conditions in the southeast region. Right now we're sitting at 79. That seems to be a pretty similar story throughout Florida. We're feeling pretty warm, pretty summery in the region. 80 in my hometown, Fort Myers. But look at that. Some skies clear, some cloudy tonight. So no consistent skies throughout the region, but temperatures are pretty consistently warm. Our dew point, as we can see, feeling pretty humid, pretty icky, sticky. 67 in Tallahassee. Same with Pensacola. Tampa a bit lower. Fort Myers a bit higher. Miami and Key West very humid as always. right on the water at 69 and 72. Current winds in the region, we don't see much of a pattern going on. We do see a bit of an indication of a cool front here in Tallahassee with that northeasterly wind, so that wind's a bit cooler and less humid, much more dry than the southerly winds we're used to. Fort Myers getting some wind right now from the east. Orlando 10 from the northeast, so nothing that really points out a pattern throughout the southeast region tonight. We can see our water vapor upper level right now. A lot of humid air just passed over our region, indicating those sticky, icky dew points we have been feeling. We see that dry air over here down way south of Florida, not affecting anyone in the entire state right now. So hopefully getting that dry air pretty soon. I'm not a fan of those humid temperatures. We can see in our satellite and radar just why that happened. Look at all this moisture in the region. Pop-up showers over Pensacola and way up there, not even affecting anywhere near Tallahassee or the state of Florida tonight. No rain throughout South Florida, just hot temperatures and just a lot of humidity. Our futurecast radar, though, take a look at this. We might be seeing some rain moving into Wednesday evening and Thursday morning. We do see a lot of changes throughout the region as far as moisture goes. Stuff moving over here into the Atlantic, not really crossing Tallahassee. We are sitting the rain chances at 20%. We're not ruling out rain yet, so keep an eye on that. Tonight's forecast, we're dropping down to 64. Hopefully Pensacola 56. Those temperatures move over here. 50 sound a lot nicer to me right now. Tampa, Fort Myers in the 70s and upper 60s, so they're sitting a bit cooler as well. Tomorrow's forecast doesn't look very good in Tallahassee. 75 chances of rain. South Florida is where it's at. 87 and sunny in Miami, so maybe a good beach day tomorrow, not a good holiday. We're going to go ahead and send it back to the desk with Michael.
Thanks, Megan. So Veterans Day is coming this Saturday, and Florida State really gives back to its alumni veterans and to its local veterans. So a few days ago, the university staff actually had a second annual walk for veterans, and you pitch in $5 to $10 as a donation to participate in this walk. So the student veterans greeted these walkers when they went on a walk from the integration statue to the College of Medicine. And Kathy Jones, who works at the financial office, she decided to do this walk with her co-workers for these veterans. And what she said is, she said, our office is very cohesive in supporting the United Way. This is just another opportunity for us to show the veterans involved in the FSU community how much we appreciate everything they've done for us. And more than 90 staff members participated in this walk, and they raised a total of $500 for these veterans. This money will be sent to the United Way, and they want, Florida State wants this money to go to these local veterans for all that they have done for this country. So I find this very great. I honestly salute our veterans for everything they have done for this country, and I hope they really enjoy all the perks of what they have done for our country on Saturday for Veterans Day. So let's take it out to the wall and look at and have a final look at our local forecast. And currently in Tallahassee, it is 79 degrees. The sun set at 5:45 this evening, so we are starting to cool down rather gradually. Our dew point is at 67. Megan was showing you across Florida, we have a lot of water vapor in the upper levels of our atmosphere. That's the reason for this high dew point and high humidity. And that wind is coming from the north, meaning that the front is nearby our area. Currently, it's 79 here in Tallahassee, 73 in Quincy. The cooler conditions are near the coast with 72 and 74 in Apalachicola. That is mainly due to the sea breeze. The dew points, as I was saying, are very high with a lot of moisture located in the upper levels of our atmosphere. 67 here in Tallahassee, and some pretty oppressive dew points here at Carabel and Apalachicola at 70 and 71 degrees. As I was saying, when you're in the 60s, it's a moderate dew point, but it's at Apalachicola and Carabel, they're on the verge of having oppressive dew points. But these dew points are not going to last for long. That cold front will move through tomorrow and give us some cooler, drier air. The winds are showing you that cold front is nearby, with the winds coming from the northwest in Tallahassee, Marianna, Thomasville. But we are getting some onshore wind here in St. Mark's, Carabel, and in Apalachicola. Satellite and radar shows you we had a lot of clouds across the region today due to that cold front approaching the region. And there's not much moisture associated with the cold front currently. A lot of this moisture is up towards the Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas area, but that we could get some rain showers from that cold front tomorrow. Futurecast winds shows you the winds coming from the north, bringing that cooler, drier air eventually tomorrow. And you can see by these temperature contours, we really cool down quickly. These are temperatures in the 50s and upper 40s for Friday morning, and into Friday afternoon we'll struggle to get to 70. And Saturday is looking pretty nice for Veterans Day. For tonight, expect some showers. We are going to gradually cool down to the middle 60s. It will be kind of muggy outside, but expect some rain showers, so I suggest bringing an umbrella just in case. Tonight, 63 here in Tallahassee, 61 in Quincy, and 64 in Apalachicola and Carabel. Tomorrow, it's not going to be as warm as it has been these last few days, with that cold front moving through our region, and with all the cloud cover, 75 here in Tallahassee, 72 in Quincy, and 70 in Bainbridge. The week ahead will show you that the cold front will have some rain here on Thursday with a 40% chance of showers. We will clear out on Friday with a high of 73 degrees. Veterans Day looks really nice, 71 degrees as a high, 50 as our low, much more seasonable averages for this time of year. But it is looking really good for next week into the later part of next week again. And let's send it back to the desk with Brittany and Megan to wrap up the show.
Thanks so much, Michael. A last look at the local, and I honestly couldn't be happier with the way the sky looks. A lot of sun for the next week. Temperatures could change a little bit, but skies are clear, so, you know, I can't complain all the way. For sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Those cooler temperatures are what I'm in favor for. So clear skies, sunny skies, cooler temperatures, perfect weather for anything, really, walking to class, anything.
Absolutely. So pulling up that 7-day again, we can see our lows do get a lot lower. Wednesday, a week from today, low is 48. And I get up for work early in the morning, so I actually do feel those really cool temperatures early in the morning. Not very pleasant when it's dark out, but, you know, 76 is the high. That's really nice.
Yeah, I will definitely take that over 80 degrees in November, not feeling like the holidays are approaching at all.
Yeah, and the key to having those lower temperatures is also having low humidity, so it feels comfortable outside. Talking about Twitter, Brittany mentioned this earlier. Go ahead and check out the new Twitter update and follow us on Twitter while you're at it.
Yeah, and like us on Facebook, facebook.com/FSU weather.
And of course, we switched over to YouTube, making it easier for a lot of our viewers to watch us live or catch any of our old shows. Also, the Instagram, posting pictures daily of different weather events happening and stuff that the crew has done and whatnot. So go ahead and check Instagram out as well. But that is all for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. I'm student meteorologist Megan Berry.
And I'm student meteorologist Brittany Bowman.
Have a great night.